Welcome to Midnight Clues.
With Clara Monroe and Elias Gray.
Does he have any problem? Mental health problem?
He's fine.
Huh?
He's fine. I can't see much. She said somebody was in her house.
Okay.
Wait, I have a
Did you see anybody else in the house?
What if they're here?
But you didn't actually see anybody?
No.
Okay.
Help me.
We're here, okay? I'm here for you. Could the thing that you thought fell possibly been a gunshot? Okay. Karina, I need you to sit up. Karina, I need you to sit up, okay? So we gotta figure out what happened, okay? The loud thump, do you think it was a gunshot or not? I know this is hard, okay, but...
There was no signs left behind, no firearms left behind, just blood. The body of a hard-working family man, and lots of arrived that Karina was interviewed by detectives. This was at around 9 a.m. that morning, June 18th, 2021. The purpose to try and find out what she knew and get some background information on the marriage.
I got up and I peeked in the living room and he was laying there, and I went to the kitchen and turned the light on in the living room, and then...
Okay.
February 2024, and she was charged with first-degree murder. She pleaded not guilty. 2 months later, Houston Danker was arrested and charged with first-degree murder also, accused of acting in concert with Karina. He too pleaded not guilty.
A frantic 911 call shatters the peace in a small Iowa town. A wife, hysterical, reports an intruder has just murdered her husband. But as we're about to find out, the real threat wasn't an intruder at all. It was someone already inside the house, hiding behind a digital ghost.
At 4:33 in the morning on June 18th, 2021, that's the desperate cry that Tama County dispatchers heard. The caller is Karina Cooper. She claims she woke up, went to the living room, and found her husband, Ryan, shot to death. A home invasion. It's a terrifying scene. But is it the truth?
So to really get what happened here, we need to understand the world the Coopers lived in. We're in the tiny farming town of Treasure, Iowa. And from the outside looking in, they were living the dream. The perfect country life. So this is the picture they painted for the world. You've got Ryan, a hardworking farmer carrying on the family legacy. You've got Karina, a popular local salon owner. Together with their 4 kids, they seemed like a pillar of the community. But that perfect image, it was about to absolutely crumble. The moment investigators arrive on the scene, Karina's story about a random break-in starts to fall apart, almost immediately. Okay, so check this out. There are no signs of forced entry, nothing was stolen, and get this, the family's famously protective Rottweiler, Ransom, he was silent all night. On top of all that, the blood evidence told a different story, suggesting Ryan had been dead for hours before that panicked 911 call. But you know where the biggest clue came from? Not the crime scene, but from a rumor already swirling around town. While talking to police, Ryan's own brother drops a name that completely flips this investigation on its head: Houston Danker. He tells them that Ryan had just recently found an explicit Snapchat message on Karina's phone from this guy, a guy who was a full 20 years younger than her. And just like that, the investigation had a brand new focus. So now, with a potential affair on the table, detectives bring in both Karina and Houston for a chat. And this is where it gets weird. They both tell the exact same, very specific, and pretty unbelievable story. This is the line Houston feeds the investigators. He claims his close relationship with Karina was totally platonic, that he was just, quote, one of the girls, and that Karina would give him dating advice. And Karina? She backed his story up, 100%. But did it really hold water? So yeah, that's their claim. He's just a gay best friend. But the reality? Oh, the reality was something else entirely. While they were spinning this tale to police, investigators were about to pull on a digital thread that would unravel everything, exposing a fiery, intense affair
filled with a dark, shared hatred for Karina's husband.
And then, investigators spot something really suspicious. After they'd taken Karina's phone as evidence, her Snapchat account was remotely deleted. I mean, talk about a huge red flag. She was obviously trying to hide something. But as we all know, nothing you put online is ever really gone for good. And when they recovered those messages, wow, it was clear Karina wasn't just cheating. She was actively fantasizing about Ryan's death. In one message, she's actually hoping a rogue semi-truck gets in a big accident and kills him. This wasn't just an affair anymore. This was turning into a conspiracy. Their language was just shockingly cold. They completely dehumanized Ryan, the father of her children, mind you, referring to him only as the sperm donor. They were already planning their future together, with Houston stepping in to be the new dad that, in their words, their kids needed. The messages left zero doubt about their relationship. They were incredibly explicit, calling each other husband and wife, planning their life together. But that digital trail didn't just expose an affair. It was about to expose a full-blown murder plot.
And if there was any doubt left in anyone's mind, Houston Danker's own phone sealed the deal. I mean, look at his Google search history. How to positively get away with murder. How to delete Snapchat data. This wasn't a crime of passion. This was calculated. It was premeditated.
So you're probably asking yourself, why go to these insane lengths? Why not just get a divorce? Well, here's your answer. It's a $500,000 answer. Ryan had a life insurance policy, and since the farm was owned by his family, Karina would get next to nothing in a divorce. But as a grieving widow, she'd be rich. And in fact, she collected every penny of it while the investigation was still going on.
Despite all this damning digital evidence, believe it or not, the case went cold for years. The final, critical piece of the puzzle didn't fall into place until early 2024. And it all happened because Houston, needing to get rid of his guns, made a huge mistake and gave them to a coworker. That coworker got a bad feeling and eventually handed them over to the police. And one of them, a .22 Ruger rifle, was a perfect match to that single shell casing from the crime scene. They had the murder weapon.
So with both Karina and Houston arrested and charged with first-degree murder, it was time for trial. And facing that mountain of evidence, Karina's defense took a turn that was, well, it was bizarre and desperate. On the stand, Karina tries one last desperate move. She throws Houston completely under the bus. She claims the whole murder plot was just an online fantasy, like playing Grand Theft Auto. She argued that Houston became obsessed, that he acted all on his own, and that she only lied to the cops because she was terrified of him. It was a performance the jury did not buy. Not for a second. After deliberating for just a little over 3 hours, they saw right through the lies, the acting, and they found Karina Cooper guilty of first-degree murder. In the state of Iowa, a first-degree murder conviction comes with a mandatory sentence. And that sentence is life in prison with absolutely no possibility of parole. Her affair, her plotting, her performance on that 911 call, it all ended right there. So what about her gay best friend? Well, Houston Danker's trial is up next. And curiously enough, his alibi seems to have changed. Back in 2021, he swore to police he was home alone that night. Now, his defense is that he was staying with his parents. We'll have to see how that news story plays out in court. When you really look at it, this case is just a chilling example of deception. For 3 years, Karina Cooper played the role of the grieving widow, all while spending the insurance money from the husband she had killed. It just leaves you asking, how much of it was a performance? And how could a digital fantasy on Snapchat spiral into such a cold-blooded murder in the quiet heartland of America?